Nothing lasts. People, places, things, feelings, they all eventually go away. And that idea can be very depressing, but it doesn't have to be. It really depends on how you look at it. See, there's no point in anything if nothing lasts. But then again, everything we do lasts only for a moment, which means every second counts. And that is kind of cool if you think about it. Everything is impermanent. That is actually a good thing, because without impermanence, life could never change. If nothing ever changed, then nothing would ever improve. We would be stuck where we are now forever. Without impermanence, we would never get a chance to grow as people, as a society, as a species. So impermanence or mutability is a prerequisite for improvement. Take, for example, human society. If it wasn't for impermanence, we wouldn't change our minds about anything. We would just continue to believe what we believed yesterday, what we believed 100 years ago, and so on. This lack of evolution of ideas has actually happened in some cases. Take, for example, the ancient Greek and Roman societies. They both lasted for around 1,000 years. And throughout those 1,000 years, their ideas didn't really change much. We're still polytheistic. Although the Greeks did start to drift towards monotheism by the end of their civilization. But apart from that, their beliefs and values were pretty much the same when their civilizations ended as they were when they began. The reason why this happened was because back then, it was quite difficult to share ideas with other people. There was no internet, no TV, no radio. The most effective method of sharing ideas was through word of mouth. And since not many people were literate, most people couldn't read a book. Most people spent their entire lives in the same village they were born in, and the ideas they had were pretty much the same throughout their entire lives. Now compare that to today. In less than a day, we can access almost every idea that has ever been created by man. Not only that, but we can also share our own ideas with billions of people across the planet. Ideas are constantly being challenged. New ideas are created all the time, and this is largely due to impermanence. They're constantly changing. When someone dies, there is an opportunity for new ideas to enter the world. When a politician dies, there is an opportunity for new laws to be made. When a business goes bankrupt, there is an opportunity for a new company to take its place. When a friendship ends, there is an opportunity to make new friends. Nothing lasts. But it is precisely that fact that gives us the opportunity to become better, to learn, to improve. And that is a beautiful thing. Now, even though nothing lasts, there are some things that last longer than others. For example, mathematics. No matter how many times we redo our entire planet, mathematics will always be true. 2 plus 2 will always equal 4. An hour always consists of 60 minutes. The Pythagorean theorem will always be true. The laws of physics will always be true. They will always be true, regardless of whether or not humans exist. The stars may explode, the galaxies may collide, the universe itself may heat up and expand until there is nothing left. But mathematics will always be true. In a way, it seems like mathematics exists outside of the physical universe. It exists outside of time. And if that isn't proof of something greater, then I don't know what is. We don't really know exactly how long human civilization will last. Perhaps we'll be wiped out by a meteor tomorrow. Perhaps we'll destroy ourselves with our own weapons. Perhaps we'll live through a new ice age. Perhaps we'll figure out how to merge our consciousness with technology and live forever. Who knows? The point is, we don't know how long human civilization will last. But there are certain things that will always outlast us. The sun, for example, will outlast us by trillions of years. Even if the universe expands and cools down, the sun will still be shining brightly. Stars will be born and die. Galaxies will be born and die. Black holes will evaporate. The sun will go supernova and become a white dwarf. But the sun will never cease to exist. It's not just the sun that will outlast us. Mathematics, science, knowledge, these will all outlast us. Take, for example, the ancient Egyptians. They've built pyramids that have lasted thousands of years. They created art and wrote stories that are still being discovered today. Their inventions and discoveries are still being studied by archaeologists. And yet we barely remember them. The Egyptians are just a footnote in our history books, but their inventions and discoveries are still standing strong. That is how math, science, and knowledge can outlast us. Imagine you are an ant, and you are given the task to build the largest possible tower. You can use any object you want, and you can gather as many ants as you want to help you. How tall of a tower can you build? Well, the answer is probably quite surprising. Ants can build towers over 100 feet tall. They can create structures with more than 50 million cells. And yet humans barely notice them. And that is because ants work together. Each ant knows that it is just one ant. It knows that it needs the other ants in order to achieve something great. And so each ant works together with all the other ants and creates something truly amazing. Humans have the exact same ability. Humans can build skyscrapers, spaceships, computers, iPhone apps, amazing works of art, and yet humans forget that they need other humans. In order to achieve these things, sometimes humans try to go it alone. They try to build something all by themselves and usually they fail. However, when humans work together, they can achieve truly amazing things. Sometimes humans create something so great that it outlasts them. It becomes part of human history. Think about all of the great works of art that have been created throughout history. Paintings, sculptures, music, books, movies, and yet most of us have never heard of the creators of these works. We enjoy the benefits of their hard work, but we forget that they even existed. But here's the interesting thing. Even though most of these artists are forgotten, their work is still enjoyed by millions of people every single year. A painting that was created hundreds of years ago is still enjoyed by millions of people today. A song that was written thousands of years ago is still enjoyed by millions of people today. And that is an amazing thing. Here's the bottom line. Nothing lasts. But that is actually a good thing. It means that we can change, we can improve. It means that there is always hope for a new beginning. But there are some things that last longer than others. Mathematics, knowledge, science, hard work, dedication, cooperation. These are the things that can outlast us. And that is a beautiful thing. There is this famous quote that I really like. It says, "If you want to build a ship, you don't start by gathering wood and nails. You start by gathering people who want to reach the shore." What does that mean? Well, if you want to build a ship, you can't just focus on the tools that you'll use. You also need to focus on the people that will build the ship. You need to find people who are skilled at building ships. You need to find people who are passionate about building ships. You need to find people who want to work together in order to build a ship. Because a ship is more than just wood and nails. It is a dream, a goal, a vision. If you want to accomplish something great, then you can't just focus on the tools that you'll use. You also need to focus on the people that will accomplish that goal. You need to find people who are skilled at accomplishing that goal. You need to find people who are passionate about accomplishing that goal. You need to find people who want to work together in order to accomplish that goal. Because whatever that goal is, it is more than just a pile of tools. It is a dream, a goal, a vision. If you want to accomplish something great, then surround yourself with people who are willing to put in the hard work, who are willing to cooperate with you, who are willing to sacrifice in order to achieve that goal. Because that is what it takes to achieve something great. It takes more than just tools. It takes people. So what's the point of anything if nothing lasts? Well, the point of anything is to try to make a difference, to leave a legacy behind. Because even if nothing lasts, there is always the potential for something new to begin. There is always the potential for growth, for change, for improvement. That is a beautiful thing.